Hello, everybody, and welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Computer America Show. Ben is here. We have Sling Media joining us in the first hour, talking about their Sling Box technology. And then in hour two, computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We're going to be starting in less than 30 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live. It's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Cross. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
What was that?
My mic was up by my eyeball, which is not where the sound comes from.
Oh, you don't talk to your eyeballs? No.
No, not since that day.
No. Okay. Yes, that was a memorable day too. Yes, exactly. Well, welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Computer America Show. As you can see, Ben is in Venice. It looks like he's in Venice. Yes, exactly, with the Venice Canal behind him. The amazing things you can do with video these days. But as I said, it's a Tuesday edition of the Computer America Show. All of our winners from last night's program, congratulations to you. Our contest is up and running again. Our Logitech contest with 3 great new prizes. We'll talk about that a little later on in the show. But our first guest is going to be from Sling. They have an incredible technology device called the Sling Box, and they're going to be talking about their latest version of this device, which allows you to do some pretty incredible things when it comes to video and your TV, and being able to see things in other places when you're in other places. So that we're going to be talking about, of course, to hour 2, computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. In this first hour, or actually in both hours, if you have a comment or question, let's get this out of the way. Give us a call at 347-884-8881. That's our phone number, 347-884-8881. It'll get you on and get you through, so you can get your questions asked. If you want to, you can also go to our chat room page. If you go to our homepage at computeramerica.com, you'll see a button that says interact with the show under where it is. It's right there. It says live video and chat. They both share the same screen. On the left-hand side, you'll see our live IRC chat room. We'd love to have you join us in there. It'll ask you for a nickname. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. There is a CAPTCHA image. It's either a number or a couple of words. You have to type that in and make sure that you're not a bot and that you're a live human being. That's the purpose of that. And then click the connect button, and your browser will move you right into the IRC chat room, the Computer America IRC chat room. A lot of people are in there right now participating. We'd love to see you in there. For your convenience, we put a button beneath that window, which is for some IRC clients. So you can actually do some nicer formatting. It'll do it for you automatically. It uses colors, and it just makes it look better, and it makes it its own window. We have like Chatzilla or HexChat. We have a number of them there. I think we have 3 of them up for you to download. They're all free, and they're plugins depending upon the platform that you're using, Windows, Mac, Linux, and also the type. I'm using Chatzilla myself. I'm using on the Mac with Firefox. So, but you can see them all there, and it explains it all, and we also have links to it on our free page. But just click that button. And you'll go, and we'd love to see you in the chat room. The other thing that's sharing that same page is our live streaming video page. Yes, and that's brought to you by Other World Computing. Quality products, expert support since 1988. Now celebrating its 25th anniversary. It is the award-winning Other World Computing. They won not one but two Stevie Awards for the America Business last month. So congratulations to them. Any computer products that you're looking for your Mac, for your PC, for your Xbox One, for your PlayStation 4, most all these products, they have accessories, hard drives, memory, you name it, and some incredible prices. Anything over $49, you get free ground shipping, which means about 80% of the country you get your product in 2 days. So that's really, really good. Very fast. They have their own YouTube channel, so they actually have installation videos that will explain how to install the product that you just purchased from them. It's an amazing site. They have some of the best values there. Check them out at their website at www.macsales, M-A-C-S-A-L-E-S, macsales.com. You'll be very happy that you went there, macsales.com. You get some great bargains. Check them out. Other World Computing. So that's how you get in touch with us. That's how you communicate with us. We have all these different venues for you to do that. Anything else, Ben, before we get started?
No, that's actually more than what I was going to say, so
okay.
I think we're good.
All right. Well, our guest tonight, as I said, is from a company called Sling Media. Sling Media actually makes it simple to access your live and recorded shows, movies, sports, when you're away. In other words, whether you're in the home or if you're on the go, anywhere in the world really, with a Sling Media device connected at home, and let's say you have a Sling player on your mobile device, you are in control of your TV experience. I mean, you can watch anything that you would normally watch at home. I mean, your local stations, anything you may have recorded, you have access to that remotely. So if you're on the road, you're in a hotel room, and you have all these great programs, why do you want to spend more money, buying movies at a hotel when you have everything there at your convenience? You can watch it on your laptop, on your mobile device. Well, tonight we're going to discuss Sling's latest version, the Slingbox M1. And we're going to do that with Brian Jaquit. Brian is the Director of Marketing for Sling Media. Hey, Brian, welcome back into Computer America. How the heck have you been?
I've been great, Craig and Ben. Thanks a lot for having me back on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know, and it's been a while. It's been too long. So we need to get you back on more frequently. But, I mean, you obviously have been quite busy there at Sling Media. We're going to talk about two of your main products tonight and the differences between them, and that is one of them is called the Sling TV. I think that was originally a different had a different name, and you've rebranded it to something called Sling TV, and then your latest Sling box, the Slingbox M1. Am I correct in that?
That's correct. Yeah, Sling TV actually is the same hardware as the product that was formerly known as Slingbox 500.
Uh-huh.
And Slingbox M1 is a brand new Slingbox. It's actually, Slingbox M1 is our most affordable, powerful, easy to use, easy to set up Slingbox that we've ever actually created. It retails for $149.99, and it comes with Wi-Fi built in, so you can easily connect it to your home network, then plug it in, obviously, to your cable box or satellite receiver, and as you described so eloquently, watch all of your live or recorded programming on all your different devices anywhere in the world.
Well, thank you for saying that I did it so eloquently, but what I want you to do, obviously, is, in your own words, describe to people what the purpose of the Slingbox is, regardless of the name. What is it designed to do? What was the mission that you and obviously have accomplished with these devices?
Yeah, so the company now is 10 years old, if you can believe that. Founded in 2004, so we're celebrating our 10th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And really, the main purpose of a Slingbox is to give consumers access to their home television content on the most popular devices, tablets, smartphones, PCs, Macs, other TVs, anywhere they happen to be. Now that could be in another room in the house. I could be in my back bedroom that maybe doesn't have a TV, and I want to use my tablet to watch a show or a sporting event on my device, or that could be halfway around the world. That could be at the World Cup watching soccer in Brazil this summer, where you really wanted to keep up with all your local shows and all your local sports teams while you were out of the country. So it was founded by two brothers who were sports fans who were traveling a lot for work, and they really wanted to keep up with their local sports teams. You know how the U.S. is, right? Depending on where we live in the United States, that kind of seals our allegiance for a lot of our sports teams. So if I live in the Bay Area, I'm a big 49ers and Giants and Warriors and Sharks fan. And you, living in another state, might be a fan of different teams. And unless those teams are broadcast nationally, I'm not going to see my games if I'm traveling outside of the state. The impetus of the product is give the consumer access to the content that they're paying for. Make that content more valuable by giving them access to it on more devices and more places, and deliver a beautiful HD quality experience for that content, because in today's day and age, that's what we expect to be watching video in that level of quality on our favorite computing products.
Right. I mean, and because not only is it distance that separates you, sometimes networks will black a game that might be in your hometown that you're watching it, but if you go to another area, and it might not even be, it could even be in the same state, but you go to a different area, for some reason the network blocks it out, so when you turn on the TV wherever you are or traveling at that point, you don't get to watch it because it's blacked out in that particular city. But with Slingbox, with the Slingbox, if you are getting it in your where you're recording it or watching it, on your local station, then no matter where you are, you'll be able to see it. Correct?
Yeah, and I think that's what really distinguishes us I would argue it distinguishes us as a complementary service to some of these services like MLB.TV or the NFL Sunday Ticket streaming package or NBA Game Time. There's a lot of services out there where customers who are displaced fans can get access to live stream their favorite sports teams. But if you're a local fan, if I live in the Bay Area and I want to watch Bay Area sports teams, if I sign up for MLB.TV, I can't watch the San Francisco Giants, and that means it'll get blacked out, even if I'm not trying to watch it. So my father, who lives in Idaho, signs up for MLB.TV because he's a big San Francisco Giants fan, and that's great. But if I want to watch my local teams that are being broadcast through my various sports channels on my home television, Slingbox is the way that I'm going to be able to do that. Right,
exactly. And now, and the process is a fairly simple one, and Slingbox works with whatever method you are bringing this content into your home. Let's say I'm a DirecTV subscriber, or I subscribe to my local cable company, that's bringing all this information, or I'm subscribing to some of these other services like Dish. I mean, there are many different services out there. Is Sling compatible with all these different technologies?
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that differentiates us, is that we are a solution that works with virtually any cable, satellite, telco distributor that you might subscribe to, and we actually have realistic remote controls that are soft remotes that show up on the screen that look like your remote control from home, so you can actually navigate your guide or navigate your DVR or change the channel just as if you were in your living room. And I think that's the other important thing is that Slingbox is a technology and is a product that just works with whatever you happen to have. Now, if you are a Dish subscriber, for example, because you brought that up, we actually our technology powers Dish's Hopper DVR, Hopper with Sling DVR, so a Dish customer can actually have the power of a Sling box built right into their DVR. They don't even need a second product to connect to it. It's built right into the set-top box, and they just install an app on their, their PC, Mac, their tablet, or smartphone, log into their, use their credentials to log into their account, and they're watching their TV. So that is a second part of our business, which is integrating the technology into existing set-top boxes and other video devices, giving a customer access to that content on their favorite products of choice.
Now, Brian, that really steams me because I don't have Dish, I have DirecTV, and DirecTV. I remember the announcement. They said, when Dish says, we have the Sling box built in. I said, great. DirecTV will probably have the same thing, but DirecTV they didn't. They went out and made their own device called the Genie Go, and I guess that's a competitor to you. The supposedly
it's a competitor. It's a competitor to a Sling box. It's a competitor to obviously Dish's Hopper with Sling DVR solution. I would argue that Dish's solution is much cleaner, a much more powerful solution.
Well, yeah, I would think so. I mean, why didn't DirecTV just say, hey, instead of having to go out and start all over again, that's what they had to, come up with the G. Why didn't they just go to Sling and say, hey, can we buy your technology and integrate it into our latest?
They're probably not starting over from square one. I mean, they have the destination. They just need to go from the beginning to the destination. But I mean, when you know where you need to be, I think a lot of the stuff in the middle kind of gets dropped, and that's why Dish and Sling probably outshine it a little bit, because they started at the beginning and didn't know where they were going to end up, and so they could explore all the little avenues.
Well, let's get it. I mean, Brian,
there's a competitive aspect to it as well. Obviously, I mean that's a better question for the folks at DirecTV. But obviously, Sling, about 2 years into its existence, or actually 3 years, I think, into its existence, it was purchased by Dish Network, and then Dish split into two companies, EchoStar and Dish. And so Sling Media is a subsidiary of EchoStar. We license the technology to Dish Network, who is the TV service. We also license the technology to a company called Eris, who makes set-top boxes. They purchased the Motorola set-top box business from Google about 1.5 years ago or so.
Okay.
So they're integrating the Sling technology into their cable box.
Well, so that kind of explains it. If they bought them, then obviously they're not going to share, so I guess at that point DirecTV says, well, we'll just try to make our own. So they came up with theirs. So let's. But that doesn't mean that you cannot use it if you have DirecTV. Oops. Hold on. We just got dropped. I hate that when that happens. Stand by and find out what's going on here. Okay, I'm going to try to reconnect to them. So I'm just going to reconnect. Hold on. And we'll get back. This isn't happening.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
To your DirecTV set-top box, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. Sorry about that. We got interrupted there. So we're back. Okay. Just letting you know we got interrupted. So our listeners might not have heard what you said, Brian. Why don't you repeat that again?
Yeah. I mean, I guess what I just said was that we have a DirecTV customer can very simply, very easily buy a Sling box, and that's why we have a retail side of our business where you can go to Amazon or Best Buy and buy our retail Sling box products and connect it to your DirecTV set-top box, and it will work. It'll deliver your living room TV live or recorded on any device. But we also obviously see great opportunity in licensing the technology to Dish and to other partners like Eris to deliver that experience to other customers as well.
All right, so let me ask you this now. From what I can see, basically you have two products. You have a Sling TV and the newest one called the Slingbox M1. Could you describe? Basically, I assume they do the same thing, but there are obviously some differences. If I had to do a side-by-side comparison, I would ask you to do. Could you kind of do a little side-by-side and what you're aiming these products as?
Sure. So the Slingbox M1 is really the mainstream, very affordable, powerful Slingbox solution, and it basically, like I said earlier, it starts at $149. It has integrated Wi-Fi. It delivers your living room TV live or recorded on all your favorite devices, anywhere you happen to be, anywhere in the world.
Okay. Now.
And the Sling TV product is basically everything that the Slingbox M1 is. It has dual band Wi-Fi, just like the M1. It connects to your cable or satellite receiver. It is very easy to set up and very easy to use, and it delivers all of your channels live and recorded on your favorite devices: iOS, Android, Windows, Kindle, Windows Surface RT, Windows 8 devices, anywhere you happen to be, anywhere in the world. The main difference between the two products is that the Sling TV product actually has a video output similar to like a Roku box or an Apple TV, which actually runs to the television. It comes with a remote control, and so it has apps and has a television interface, which allows you to basically do a couple things. One is it allows you to stream content from over-the-top services. Today that's just Blockbuster, On Demand, and Dish World, which is an a la carte international television service. And Blockbuster, for those that don't know what that is, it's like an Amazon Instant Video. It's like rentals of your favorite movies that you rent for a one-time fee to watch on your big screen TV. The other important aspect of Sling TV, though, is that because it connects to both your cable or satellite box and to your television, it has a television output, we've actually integrated into the TV interface an overlay which allows you to very easily discover and navigate to content that's available from your cable provider, content that you might not know exists. Movies, television shows, sporting events, all in a very visual, rich interface that's right on your TV screen. And with basically you can filter what's on by any one of those categories. Your favorite channels, Twitter activity, who's talking the most on Twitter, which shows are kind of popping to the top. Or you can filter by sports scores. So like on a Saturday or Sunday during the football season, you can see every game that's being played right now. You can get detailed stats. You can actually pull up the game scores, or you can navigate to that game, or you can just see what's going on with all the other games that you're watching. But what we're trying to do is basically bring more value into the living room with Sling TV, because Slingbox has really been about taking the content from your living room and letting you watch it somewhere else. And while Sling TV does that, same way as Slingbox M1, Sling TV also has features that are really designed for the living room television watching experience.
Now, could I use this? Could I hook the Sling TV up and decide not to use any of that? I just want to, I'm going to some other location and I can watch all my shows, or do I have to hook it up to the TV to see to navigate through it, or can I use it just as a Slingbox?
No, you can just use it as a Slingbox as well, and actually you can configure it using both the remote control, so you could configure it on the television screen with the included remote control that comes with it. The same way that you would configure like a Roku, you follow some on-screen instructions, or you can configure it with your PC or Mac, and eventually you'll be able to configure it on your mobile device as well. Actually, the Slingbox M1, for the first time, we're letting users configure this Slingbox M1 with their iOS or Android-based device right on their device itself. That's something we hadn't done before. So if you didn't want any of that on-screen aspect of the Sling TV, you wouldn't have to use it. It's basically transparent to you. It would only appear if you actually plugged in an HDMI cable from Sling TV into your television screen. So if you didn't do that, you wouldn't have any of that stuff. But if you didn't want to use any of that stuff, the Slingbox M1 is probably the more ideal solution, because it is $149.99 and Sling TV is $299.99.
Okay. I guess what also the thing is that you only, let's say your TV has maybe one HDMI in, or if it has two, and you want, the point is if I go to another HDMI in, what's with the Sling TV, then how do I go back to the HDMI one where, let's say, my DirecTV is coming in? I need some way of marrying the two so I can see the overlays. I mean, or is it a pass-through?
It's a pass-through.
Uh-huh.
It's just a pass-through.
Okay.
So basically, it's not going to interrupt any of that. So basically what you would do is you would run HDMI out from your set-top box into Sling TV.
Got it.
We'd also recommend you'd run component out from your set-top box, your DirecTV box or whatever it is, into Sling TV as well. And then there's outputs on Sling TV, and then we would say run HDMI out from Sling TV into your television. So then basically the video passes right through Sling TV and onto your television screen. And that's the way we actually also allow you to watch on all your different devices. We're effectively capturing the video, sending it out over the internet for you then to watch on your, your mobile phone or your tablet or other smart device.
Right. Okay, so the Sling TV actually sounds like to me is really the top of the line, and the Slingbox M1, although it is a newer device, would be the second level. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, it'd be more the entry-level product. I mean, exactly, it'd be the second-level device. I mean, I think that what we're doing with Sling TV, and remember what I said earlier, Sling TV is the same hardware as the Slingbox 500, which was a product we introduced a couple of years ago.
Right.
So we haven't changed hardware. We basically are just what we would like to say is that we're bringing more value to the Sling customer and more value inside the living room for that customer. Now, while Dishworld and Blockbuster On Demand are the first two over-the-top apps that are available, we also are trying to build a platform to deliver more content, more relevant content for watching on the TV via internet-based apps as well. So I think you'll see more and more developments from us in that regard. This is but a first step in that direction.
All right. Well, it sounds to me like if you want everything, then the Sling TV is the way to go. And if you don't need everything, you just need to watch whatever you're recording and local programming, then the Slingbox M1 would be the way to go for you as well. At least that's
yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Now, I remember when I saw the Sling TV when it first. I mean, it's a really nice-looking device too. I mean, it's sculpted. It looks like it has a twist built into it. It's a really kind of an interesting product. Yeah. So you mentioned a couple of the. One of the other things that I also have is Chromecast. That's we had on the show. Do you work with the Chromecast, or how does that work?
Today we do not. Today we work with Apple TV and Roku. So, in the way we work with those products is if you pair Apple TV or a Roku with a Slingbox. So the Slingbox, let's say the Slingbox is in your living room, and you have an Apple TV or a Roku in the back bedroom television or connected to a remote television.
Okay.
You can then use the Sling Player app on your phone to basically connect your living room TV, where the Slingbox is located, to your secondary TV, whether that is in your same house or in a different location. And you can watch and control the same way you would watch and control on your phone, but in this instance, you're watching on the big screen TV. So basically, we allow, we kind of marry to those products to give a big screen television experience from the living room to a secondary TV. Now, Chromecast is a platform that we have come out and said that we are working to support, and that is definitely true. We are not there yet with an announcement for Chromecast, but as I mentioned, Roku and Apple TV are supported, which are obviously very popular platforms as well.
Are you saying that that Roku, Apple TV are partners or competitors? You're saying it sounds to me like you're more like a partner.
In this regard, it's partners, absolutely. I think that a lot of times Slingbox gets lumped in with Roku and Apple TV and Chromecast and Amazon Fire TV as competitors. I would argue that we're not in that regard because of the different way that our technology works. We're very much reliant on you having cable or satellite, whereas a lot of these other products, they are true over-the-top, apps, Netflix, Amazon Instant Video, all these different types of service, and they're very much to the television, right? They're not delivering content to other devices like Slingbox does. We get lumped into that conversation But in the instance I just described, we're very much complementary, and actually we work very, very closely with these guys, because what we give you is the ability to, if you had one in your house, you maybe don't need a secondary set-top box in the back bedroom, because you could have a Roku in the back bedroom or an Apple TV, and you could effectively bring the video content, your live TV or your recorded shows from the living room back to the back bedroom.
All right, I'll tell you what.
TV.
I got a lot more questions for you here, Brian, but we're up against the break. I want to talk a little bit about Netflix and how that might figure into all of this as well. But we're at the bottom of the hour. We take a break. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. Sling Media is our guest for this hour. We'll be right back with its Director of Marketing, Brian Jaquith. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Thanks. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. Their mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hanyo Hashemnika. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time about berry breeze. Now, whether your lunch or snack breaks happen in an office or at home, chances are all too good that when you open the fridge, some bad smells may emerge. The first suspects are produce, when there's something rotten in the state of those fruits and veggies. In closed spaces, the ethylene gas that helps produce ripen keeps working until the fruits and veggies rot. We've covered over the years many workplace destinkifiers based on ozone. That word again, ozone. PR people like to say activated oxygen, but we'll use the more direct term for O3. It's ozone. Berry Breeze is a tiny ozone generator for the fridge. It uses clever timing. It runs in short bursts that neutralize most perceived odors, as well as it helps diffuse some of the ethylene effect. 20 weeks or more of runtime on 4D cells. That's pretty decent. Bottom line, Berry Breeze can help keep older food from creating a stink in the fridge. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Do you think that's a baking soda replacement kind of deal?
Yeah, it's like destinkify. It does destink. Is that a word? I was trying to look it up. But yes, instead of putting baking soda in your fridge, you put this little berry thing in there, and it uses the technology to keep your refrigerator smelling clean.
We're just not going to let the elderly folks keep anything in their lives, can we? We have to replace even that with technology. Baking soda in the fridge.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyways, welcome back.
It works, you know.
I know it works, and very cheaply. Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 34 minutes past the hour. We have Brian Jaquit here with us from Sling, and you know, right before the break, you mentioned something that I probably could have found a really good use case for Sling myself. Last year, I was living in an apartment, and it was just me. So I didn't really need to have multiple boxes or multiple anything.
Oh, you had the two dogs.
I can.
You had the two dogs.
Yeah, but the dogs they only watch Animal Planet. They have variety. It wasn't them. But one thing that I did have was I only had one set-top box for television, and when I had that, I can only get television in the one place, and of course I chose the living room. So in my bedroom, I had nothing. So, and I swear I have a question with this, but I was just thinking out loud that with Sling, for people who have maybe one TV set or just don't want to, spring for the extra $30 a month or whatever it is to rent another set-top box from your cable company,
right.
Sling could just replace that, there and then.
Yeah, absolutely, and you make a great point. I mean, there's a couple things here, right? One is inside your home. And when we do launch support for Chromecast, that will be the three most popular standalone devices, and they're started super cheap, right? $35. Roku started I think $50, and Apple TVs are under $100. So very, very affordable. Obviously multi-use as well, because if you're not using it to pair with a Sling box, you can use it to watch Netflix, and you can use it to watch Amazon, you can use it to watch Hulu Plus, all sorts of different video services as well. Another area, though, outside of the home, and we're seeing a lot of this, is college students. They go off to college, they go out of state, or they're in state, but maybe they go from Northern California to Southern California, or vice versa, or maybe Southern Florida to Northern Florida, and they're in either a dorm room or they're in an apartment, and if they pair a Roku, Apple TV, or a Chromecast with a Sling box back at home, where their parents are, then they've got access to all their teams, all their favorite teams while they're away at college. And I sure could have used this technology when I was in New Hampshire, going to school, and all I saw was New England, the New England Patriots and the Boston Celtics and the Boston Red Sox on TV. It was brutal.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking of that. I mean, not especially for college kids, who kind of miss home and really follow sports like that. Perfect. Actually, one of my the question that I was beating around the bush that I think I can now get to is what happens to the television that you hook up the Sling box to? Like, let's say you stream the signal to another television somewhere in the house through Roku or Apple TV or what have you. What can you change the channel or watch something else on that television, or is it just kind of dedicated to sending the feed somewhere else?
Good question.
The short answer is it's the same. So you'll have the same fight over the remote control, whether you're in the same room as a person or you're thousands of miles away, because basically the Sling box is taking the video straight from the set-top box. It's, like I said earlier, it's capturing the video before it gets to the TV, and therefore it's the same channel, it's the same program, it's the same everything. So if I'm on my Sling on my computer or my tablet and I change the channel, it'll change the channel at home if that person is watching TV. Now remember, the TV doesn't have to be on, right? You're just capturing the video. The TV is just a display. Right. So a lot of times our customers will install a Sling box on a secondary TV or even a set-top box that's not connected to a TV, somewhere like that would prevent that from actually happening. And then getting back to Dish and to Hopper with Sling and to our OEM licensing, when you integrate Sling technology inside the set-top box, right, at the chipset level, this tuner conflict goes away. So a Hopper customer, if they're watching Dish Network at home on their TV, and their spouse or their child is away and wants to watch on their tablet, there's no channel conflict. So that person that logs in remotely can change the channel, can go in the DVR. It just picks up a secondary tuner automatically, and that's the benefit of integration. And that's the same case whether it's a satellite receiver, a cable box with Aris, or what have you. That's a real big benefit to a technology like that.
Yeah, it certainly makes a lot of sense. So if you can get it integrated, then you don't have this one TV, one channel when you have the non-integrated. Then you have multiple channels, and that doesn't cause a problem. But it has to be, as you say, on the integrated level to do that, because you need to get access to that kind of control, and the only way you can really do that is if you're integrated into the system itself, which makes sense.
That's correct.
One of the Chromecast, and I'm very gratified to hear that you're going to be you're going to be eventually working with Chromecast. By the way, people who have the existing boxes, will that software upgrade? Is that something that says, oh, you now support Chrome, or will they have to change the box itself to support Chromecast?
So there's a kind of two-pronged thing. One would be that, so for today, for example, it's just a software update to the Sling Player apps, and so you do need to run the Sling Player apps.
Okay.
In order to do this, you can't do this from a PC or Mac, so you have to have Sling Player for iPhone or iPad or what have you, and it's a software update to that. And then we support. Right now, we support for Roku and Apple TV, and I'm going back to Roku and Apple TV because we haven't announced Chromecast yet, so I don't want to get ahead of myself here formally. But basically, we support back to the most, not the most recent, but the second to last generation of products, and that really has to do with just the ability to make sure that the hardware supports the processing power that's necessary to have a really good experience at the 60-inch level rather than the 6-inch level.
Right.
So basically, you need to have a Sling box that is supported, and then you need to just update your software on your Sling Player app. You should be good to go.
Yeah, that's what I thought your answer would be. Now, again, I don't mean to linger on the Chromecast, but because I do have a Roku, but I don't use it, and I had an Apple TV, I don't use it. I've got a $35 Chromecast, which I really use, and I only use it really with Netflix. What I'll do is I'll either have I have a Netflix app on my iPhone, and I also have the Netflix app on my Mac. So I can go between one and another. And by the way, the Netflix app has been upgraded. I mentioned this a couple of days ago. So they got rid of all that horrible lag and everything. When you tap your iPhone, the Chromecast picks up immediately. There's like no delay, which is a wonderful thing. But that aside,
that's great.
Yeah, I use Chromecast primarily right now to view Netflix content. Now, is there? And with the Sling TV, you mentioned Netflix. So, am I going to be able to use the Sling TV to access Netflix content, which then I can eventually go to my Chromecast equipped TV? Is that the plan? Is that what you're looking at?
The plan is to integrate with Sling TV. The plan is definitely to integrate more apps, more content for the large screen television. So, like I said before, it's Blockbuster and it's Dishworld today, but we have clear plans later this fall and into next year to add a number of other over-the-top services. Netflix is like the holy grail, as I think a lot of people would say, and I think that we'd like to have that. I can't say today whether we will at this time or not have that on Sling TV, but basically, we recognize that combining a great linear TV experience, meaning your cable, satellite, etc. experience, with a great over-the-top and app-based experience is really a valuable, a great value proposition for the consumer, because you're not only getting, the best of your cable which is your favorite shows that are in prime time today, all your favorite sports, etc. But you're also getting the great library of on-demand content from a Netflix or an Amazon, Prime Instant Video or Hulu Plus, being able to go in the back catalog, being able to catch up. And so when you can combine linear with with over the top, I think that's really kind of the holy grail for the customers these days.
All right, now Brian, again, this is the journalist in me, because I always love to hedge what I'm saying with most, or almost all, or things like that, and I have to ask you this question. I mean, the Slingbox or the M1 or the Slingbox Sling TV, you say will work with most. I mean, I'm assuming you mentioned DirecTV, obviously with Dish. You said most cable. I mean, are most when you say most cable boxes, I mean, there's some cable companies out there that just won't work with Sling that people need to know, or
no, I mean, and when I say it, I mean it's literally 99% and 99.9. I mean, okay. We literally have thousands and thousands of remote control codes in our database. So no matter what you have, there's a very, very good chance that we'll have the remote control code, which would be the means of controlling that cable box. Now, for example, the best example I'll give you is that when Xfinity came out with the X1 this year, there was a time there in our apps where the way that we had implemented it, the remote control caused it wasn't the best experience. It worked, but customers were frustrated that they couldn't use it as well as they thought they would, because some of the buttons on the remote control didn't work the way that they expected, and everything. There's definitely there are hundreds of cable operators in this country. I mean, we know the top 10, right? The cable, Carter, Verizon, I guess, which is telco, as well as AT&T.
Yeah.
But there are countless others that are regional, that are smaller in nature, from a customer standpoint. So you have to do a lot of work, obviously, to make sure you're keeping up with all these different set-top boxes and all these different new services, and making sure that we've got everything in the database. So that's why I kind of hedged a little bit. But if I had to bet, 99.9% of the time we're going to support for a customer and their cable.
So is in XYZ city, and they have an XYZ cable company that no one's ever heard, and they only service maybe 5 households, and it doesn't work. Can they call up Sling Media and say, hey, your Slingbox isn't working with mine, the codes aren't working, will you go out and contact the company, and because it's just a matter of software, and then find out what the codes are and then put it in? Is that what you would do?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those companies, right, use the same set hardware as the big boys, right? So they're sourcing it from a lot of the same places. So a lot of times the remote control codes are very, very similar. If they have a custom remote, for example, maybe we don't have that remote in our system yet, but all it takes is a remote control. I mean, we've had customers send in remotes of their carrier or of their service provider, so that we can basically into our database. People post things on our community forum to tell us, hey, I really want, that's how we found out basically what we need to do with the X1. We got feedback from customers that, hey, the X1 works, but this part doesn't work, and can you guys fix this? And so we went in there and we did eventually. So our community works really well in that regard. And our team is always looking to make sure that we've got the most up-to-date database of compatibility codes. And look, you think about this, it's in the States, it's worldwide, right?
Oh, that's true.
We sell products in a number of other countries around the world, from Japan, other parts of Southeast Asia, to Europe, the UK, to South America. We're launched and in Brazil and Colombia and El Salvador. And so each of those countries has cable satellite operators that where we basically, before we launched in that country, we collected the most plentiful set-top boxes, the most popular devices, services that are out there, and made sure they were all in our system.
Yeah, exactly. And again, obviously, when you're dealing with foreign cable companies, it expands it. So I'm very gratified to hear that that you try to work with all of them. Sometimes you would say you would wish that you had a learning remote. So in the old days you would point the remote to the thing and it would just learn the codes. And say, press this for play, press that for. But
we have something like that. I mean, it's funny that you bring that up. I mean, that's basically. One of the ways that we actually import a lot of the stuff is we have kind of our own little proprietary device that takes the remote control and learns all the commands and then ingests it into our system.
That's nice. Okay,
it's a pretty powerful tool.
And then you disseminate it amongst all the boxes, Sling boxes out there, right? It's just like a you just
I mean, so when you, just to kind of put it in perspective, when you process it, we ask you questions, right? First, we ask you to connect to your home network, and you got to put in your you got to connect to your SSID, and then put in your password for your security code for your network.
Yeah. And
then we ask you, hey, how are you connected? Or what's the name of the device that you're connected to? And let's say I'm connected to TiVo. I type in TiVo, and then it pops up hundreds of different TiVo boxes. Is it DirecTV TiVo? Is it standalone TiVo? Is it the Premiere? Is it the HD? Is it the Romeo? And then you connect. You select it, and then based on answering those little questions, we then give you the remote control that most mimics your TiVo box or your Dish box or your DirecTV box or Comcast box, etc.
Let me ask you this. We're almost out of time. Brian, obviously the fall time is a great time to be a sports fan. I mean, so would you say is Sling's most important value realized at this time of year, or are you looking at other demographics of users to expand your base?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that the low-hanging fruit is definitely this time of year because there's such a confluence of sports, whether it's college sports and college football, NFL. Baseball is heating up with the playoffs, and NBA and NHL are right around the corner. I mean, the fall is kind of that beautiful time, and we really give a lot of value to customers who are traveling a lot in the fall, or who are maybe traveling out of the country, or just want more access to their favorite teams. But I also, the other thing about fall is that fall is a and I guess this has been blurred a little bit in more recent years, but fall was always kind of historically the new fall TV season, and all the new shows and all that, and that's been a little bit blurred because I think shows are being introduced year round now, it seems like. But there's a ton of new fall shows, and one of the things that Twitter and some of the other social media networks have kind of I think raised here is that appointment TV is kind of hip and cool again, because Twitter, in that real-time nature of Twitter, you want to watch it when everyone else is watching it, not only for spoiler alerts, but also because you want to be part of the conversation on social media, on Twitter, or you want to watch along. Some of these big shows like Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad last fall and Mad Men, people want to follow along and want to be watching social media when everyone else is watching that show. And if you're not able to make it home on a Sunday night, or if you're not able to basically sit in front of your big screen TV on a Sunday night or Monday night, whenever that show is premiering, Sling is really the way to access that content. So we've really benefited from prime time is social time, and appointment TV, not just basically, DVR for so long was like, well, yeah, let's, you don't need to watch it live. Watch it whenever you want to watch it. And Netflix obviously does a good job of that, but we really feel strongly that there's been kind of this new opportunity, especially with a younger demographic and millennials, entertainment enthusiasts, the female as well as male demographic, to kind of deliver a value-added experience, on all these great primetime shows when everyone else wants to watch.
Right. All right, so we got again a couple of minutes. Let's talk a little bit about the Sling player, the itself. What devices are the Sling player apps is available for, and how does it work? Can I give us a quick overview?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so PCs and Macs are supported, and that right now we're in a little bit of a transition period because the M1, which was just launched, as I mentioned, comes with a desktop app. This is something we had when Sling first started. We had desktop software for PC and for Mac, and then we went to a web-based software, web browser-based software for those devices. And now we're moving back to the app. And so for Slingbox, you can use a PC and Mac desktop app. It's totally free. We also have, obviously, for other Slingbox customers, you can continue to use the web browser, but we will eventually make the desktop apps for Mac available for other Slingbox customers, and that's just a matter of time now. In addition to that, we have apps for iPhone and iPad. We have apps for Android phone and Android tablet. We have apps for Kindle Fire and Kindle Phone. We have apps for Windows Phone. We have apps for Windows 8, which is both the tablet devices as well as the Windows 8 desktops and laptops and convertible devices. So we really run the gamut of all the most popular devices that
Sure.
you would use, and we have apps for basically just about everyone.
Yeah, Addison in the chat room made a point. He says that he recalls hearing about expats and actually watching Sunday football from hotel rooms overseas using their Slingbox. I mean, it really crosses the borders, really. I mean, if you can get, I assume, as long as you can get you're in a country where you can get a valid internet signal that's not blocked, you should be able to do that, right?
Yeah, great story I got last February. A customer called and said they were down in Mexico for the 49ers-Packers football playoff game last year, which was a great game. And they were in a bar, and there was a storm, and the satellite feed totally went out in the bar and down in Mexico. And this guy whipped out his phone, and they had Wi-Fi in the bar because a lot of places, and I noticed this as well when we launched in Latin America, a ton of restaurants and bars all have Wi-Fi. So he whipped out his phone, he got on the Wi-Fi network that hadn't gone out, and he pulled up the game on his phone, and he was like the hero of the bar. Everyone crouched around him and was watching it. It was great. It's really cool.
There you go. Well, listen, if you want to get more information about all the Sling products, you can go to their website, which is sling.com, or just go to our homepage at computeramerica.com. Go to our show notes page, and you'll see today's show, which is September the 16th, and we have a link right to Sling Media right up there. That stays up for all time, so you can see it for yourself. Check out all the different products. You can even buy them right there on the website. You can get accessories. They have Sling remotes there. You can buy IR blasters. I mean, they have everything that you need that you want to add to it. It's all there at the Sling Media website for your downloading pleasure. Brian, what can I say? A terrific show. I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight, and I'll have to get my order for Sling TV over to you so I can check it out for myself.
Absolutely. Look forward to that, Craig. And I would just tell your listeners who are Chromecast fans to stay tuned. We're very, very close to making an announcement on that support, and I'm really excited about that. And I really appreciate you and Ben both having me on the show tonight. I had a great time.
Brian, it's our pleasure, and let's not make it another couple of years. Let's get you back on in a sooner time frame, okay?
I agree.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Have a good evening. Good night.
Bye-bye.
All right, there you go.
Don't you wish that, making things compatible was as easy as just kind of smashing two things together? Like, if you wanted your Chromecast and your Slingbox to work, you could just kind of shove your Chromecast into your Sling.
That's right. Just tap them, and they magically become, they have some NFC set up in each one, and then they just work.
Yeah, if only.
If only. Well, anyhow, interesting. Again, if you can go to their website or go to our website, you can check out the Sling Media at sling.com, and you can see it for yourself. We have some interesting news stories coming up in the second hour of the show, and
we do?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we got a bunch of them here. Maximum PC, we got AOC wants to save your eyes using anti-blue light technology in monitors.
Since when was blue light the enemy?
Evidently, they're saying it is. They're saying it's not good for your eyes, and it's my favorite color, blue. I don't understand that.
It's very soothing.
Yeah. Well, green is the most soothing, but the blue.
Matter of preference.
Yeah. Also, Microsoft unveiled some universal keyboard and wire Xbox One controllers for Windows. Ooh, some of the stories coming up. And also more about that special Windows 9 event that we mentioned.
You're skipping over the biggest news story of the day. You did it yesterday. You're doing it today.
I'm doing it just to frustrate you. What? What's the biggest story?
Boeing and SpaceX, two companies, are taking NASA into the future.
Wow. Okay. I guess NASA leading the
Can't wait to talk about that story.
From the private sector. All right, you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. Ben and I are coming back with computer and technology news. They're brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. We're going to have another news tips bulletin review from Marty Winston coming up as well. We'll be right back. We're not going very far. Just a couple of moments. You're listening to Computer America. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we're continuing on. We just had Sling Media on the show. Brian Jaquit, marketing director for Sling, talking about the Sling TV and the Slingbox M1. Very interesting products. They allow you to watch your television, any of the things that you have on it, recorded on it from anywhere, literally anywhere in the world, and which really comes in handy, especially if you're away and you want to see all that stuff. That kind of technology is there, and they really have it perfected, and you can get it for yourself. And they're always upgrading and expanding it, which is really nice. You can listen to any of our shows again. We archive all of our shows at ComputerAmerica.com. All you have to do is go to our homepage. Right there, on the top menu there's archives. Just click on that, and it'll take you to our archives page. You can listen to any of our audio archives on Blog Talk Radio. We have a link there. We have audio archives on Apple's iTunes. We have video archives. All of our live video streams are available, brought to you by Otherworld Computing, and they're all on the video archives page, YouTube. Just click that as well. Also, our Computer America blog is available on the archives, and we also have a photo archive, which we're in the process of updating and making that work. It's not quite finished yet, but hey, it's a work in progress, and we will get that. But again, everything you need to know about Computer America is right there waiting for you at ComputerAmerica.com. I mean, so many people, I'll get emails and they'll say, hey, where can we, where do we listen to your show? Or where can I get archives of the show I just heard? It's right there at ComputerAmerica.com. Just go to our webpage and everything that you need is there waiting for you. Of course, our brand new contests are up as well. Just under the Interact menu, you just enter contest. You'll see all of our contests, including our Logitech contest, which just started yesterday, with a brand new grand prize, the Logitech X300 mobile wireless stereo speaker. It's $70. It's available in 4 colors, and you, as the winner, can pick any of the 4 colors that you want. And they'll send you the speaker in the color that you'd like. It is a Bluetooth speaker. It works with any Bluetooth-enabled device, and it's from Logitech. You know it's going to be great, and that's our brand new grand prize. Of course, we continue to have the Logitech G400S optical gaming mouse, valued at $60, and the Logitech HD webcam C310, valued at $50. You can see all of them right there on our contest page under the Logitech contest at ComputerAmerica.com. And of course, our show reminder winner every Friday All you have to do is sign up for a show reminder newsletter. It's completely free, completely private. We don't give the info out to anyone. And every Friday we give away a Logitech T650 rechargeable glass touchpad. They're all there. So just head over to our homepage at computeramerica.com, go to our contest page, enter in all of our contests. They're all free. They're all private. You'll have a lot of fun doing so. And who knows, you might win something really, really nice. Okay. So, Ben, anything else going on?
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure if you heard or if you remember, back in the late 90s, I think it was between 97 and 2001.
Yes.
They sold a soda called Surge.
Yes, I remember that. Surge, yeah.
It was highly, highly sugarized. It had a lot of sugar in it. It was kind of like an energy drink.
And caffeinated. And caffeine, too.
Yes, it had everything in it. And but it was discontinued back in the 90s. And yeah, and I guess people were missing it. And just out of the blue, I mean, I don't know who was still asking for it, 15 years down the line. But lo and behold, this actually happened, I think, 2 days ago. Amazon struck an exclusive deal with Coca-Cola, and they actually stocked up.
They're bringing
on Surge Cola.
They're bringing it back?
It was a limited running, apparently.
Oh, wow.
So, they say back now due to popular demand, and by the time I got to go look at it, and I mean, I heard about it within a couple hours of it, happening.
Yeah.
They were sold out.
Wow.
And they've still been sold out. It's currently the #1 bestseller in grocery and gourmet foods in Amazon. I'm sure it hit lots of Amazon, top lists and everything. And they still have one available. Someone apparently bought one and put it back up for resale, so you can buy it from him for $300.
Wow.
For 12 cans. But yeah, it's apparently people love it just for the sake of nostalgia.
Well, maybe they'll bring it back again for a while or something.
Maybe. I don't think they're going to do a full-on running, but just the fact that they released, I think they said like 300 cases of it on Amazon, and they were gone within hours.
Hey, Addison says that they've modified Mountain Dew. He says it doesn't taste the same since they took the something.
I have tried that. Mountain Dew used to have that, like, I don't want to say Pop Rocks feeling where you drink it and your mouth feels like it's on fire with Pop Rocks, but it's I want to say it's more sweet, but it's not as sweet as it used to be because they used to have that fake sugar in it that was just 1,000 times sweeter than your tongue could handle. But it's still very good.
You said they had bromine in it, and then they took the bromine out, and they says it's not the same.
Oh well, that's just not Mountain Dew anymore. That's just Mountain Meh.
He says it was a flame retardant. Okay.
Isn't bromine flammable? I guess when bromine was flammable.
I don't know. Anyway, okay. So again, if you're watching our live computer video streaming page, again, Otherworld Computing. I mentioned that they're award-winning. They just put out this press release the other day that you can now harness the power of Thunderbay 4, which is a quiet desktop drive with dual Thunderbolt 2 ports, delivering high performance and powerful storage up to 24 terabytes on this thing. Okay. Both the Thunderbay 4 and the Thunderbay 4 RAID 5 edition are now available with up to 24 terabytes of capacity. Wow. And,
okay. I'm not going to say that 24 terabytes of storage, doesn't get me excited because it does. But with the name like Thunderbay, I thought, just maybe OWC was going to come out with their own version of Thunderdome.
It could be.
Not quite though.
No, almost. Anyway, check it out. It's all up on the OWC website. Just go to maxsales.com, www.maxsales.com, and you can see. Also, check out their blog. It's called rocketyard.com. You can access it from maxsales.com, or just go to rocketyard.com. A lot of interesting articles and stories there. The Otherworld Computing blog, rocketyard.com, tells you what's going on. It's all there. And again, remember, they also have a lot of how-to articles now. If you don't know what a RAID is or what an SSD is now, they have some articles, how-to articles up there that will kind of bring you up to speed. Just visit them, maxsales.com, for all your computing needs. Okay. All right. Well, let's. I guess we'll just start doing some computer news. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Okay.
All right.
All right. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right. Everything at the slimwareutilities.com website, absolutely free. That's it. They're not crippled in any way. You don't have to pay more money to get more features. That's called the freemium model. None of that. It's completely free. All their software, their rec image, their backup software for Windows. Just download everything that you see on that page because they're all free. Put them in your toolbox. Use them when you need them. They will really speed up, clean, and optimize your Windows system. We use them here at the Crossman household. Very effective. Download them all. You'll be very happy that you did that, and you'll thank us for it. slimwareutilities.com. All right. Our first story of the evening is from Maximum PC, Paul Lilly. I can hear Ben groaning.
I know. You're skipping over Boeing and SpaceX.
I'm going to give you that one. You're going to do that one. AOC wants to save your eyes using anti-blue light technology in monitors.
Oh, yeah, no, that's important.
Yeah, I mean, the display maker AOC is rolling out a patent-pending technology called anti-blue light. That means you don't see any blue on the monitor. No, I'm just kidding. That's supposed to protect your eyes against the damaging effects of blue light from LED backlit monitors. Just like overexposure to ultraviolet light waves from the sun can impair your vision, so can shortwave blue light, that's like between 380 and 450 nanometer, that's the spectrum, from LED backlit devices, according to AOC. The company's anti-blue light technology reduces the intensity and strength of the harmful shortwave blue light by fine-tuning the LED backlight. This method reduces blue light by over 90%. Compared to other solutions that use filters or software settings, AOC's ABL technology reduces shortwave blue light without dimming and without distorting colors so that the monitor can maintain the true color and clarity of your images. Okay, so is this a real problem? Well, according to AOC, there are studies showing that long-term exposure to blue light can lead to macular degeneration, a permanent loss of vision in the center of the eye due to damage of the retina. The company references Dr. Carl Kumpfer, former director of the U.S. National Eye Institute, who predicts that the prevalence of AMD is expected to rise to 6.3 million by the year 2030, and that it will become an epidemic. Wow. We believe that any technology that can help protect our users' eyes without forcing them to change their digital lifestyle will be highly welcome. This is according to the AOC marketing manager. AOC's anti-blue light technology leads the industry in protecting consumers against the damaging effects of blue light and providing a safer and healthier workplace. AOC's solution tweaks the blue light emissions at the source by shifting the wavelength peak of the LED backlight from 450 nanometers to 650 nanometers, moving it out of the range that's considered harmful. The company plans to implement its ABL technology into all of its AOC 78-volt series monitors. So there you go. You know, I mean, it's not hard to understand that. I mean, this could be. I mean, you know, 20 years ago we were talking about other things that could harm you that we didn't know about, and that turned out to be harmful. You know, so.
One of the big things, I mean, I still don't even know where I stand on it, is cell phones, cell phone radiation.
Yeah, they say that gives you tumors.
Yeah, it gives you tumors and cancer and brain cancer and everything. I mean, honestly, I don't know. It seems plausible. I mean, you're holding up something that emits, radio waves and all these other kinds of, wavelengths, and you're
Your
holding it up to your face.
your
I mean,
head.
that's never really happened before in the history of humans.
Yeah, but they haven't proved it, or nor have they disproved it. Still, there's nothing.
And that's why I can't say either. Like if there was a paper saying, yeah, this is what happens, for sure, you know, then we have
You
something to talk about.
use
But just the fact that never before in human history have we been able, have we held up little boxes of radiation to our faces and talked into them.
What about earbuds? Or use the speakerphone version of it, so that people
They say that using headsets, the earpieces, the earbuds, what have you, reduces the radiation.
and using the speakerphone too would be the same thing, right? It's a way.
And same thing. But I mean, people still hold up to their face all the time. I mean, I know I do. So
You hold it up to the right side of your face or your left side of your face?
doesn't matter.
Yeah, because there's this large bulge coming up from the left side of your. Could be a tumor.
I'll start alternating so the bulge actually goes evenly.
Evenly. That's it. Okay. All right. So
It's not about reducing. It's about mitigating.
That's it. Right. Exactly. What's this with this SpaceX things? Come on, tell me about it.
It's the biggest story of the day, and you jump to a monitor story.
Yeah. Well, it's
Craig Crossman. Why? So, as many of you have heard today, SpaceX and Boeing, yes, that Boeing, have won the contract to help NASA build their new line of rockets to take astronauts into space.
Mm-hmm. All right.
That's big news. Because before we actually get into the actual article, just one good thing that's coming out of the whole Russian, apparently, not to get into the politics of it, but apparently there's some tension between the Russians and the Americans. Who would have thought that would ever happen?
No.
So, if you remember back in 2010, NASA canceled launching space shuttles from Cape Canaveral in Florida and from the U.S., and they were sending their astronauts up to the International Space Station by renting rides from the Russians.
Yes.
And one good thing to come out of the whole Russian-U.S. tension is I really do feel that America sees the need to have their own space program. Not to piggyback on the Russians, not to just be, just a spectator, but for America to actually be part of the next space race, which I believe is to Mars. So, politics aside, that's one good thing that came out of it. NASA's back in action.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner, and there's actually two. Today, NASA announced that two private companies will be tasked with taxiing NASA astronauts to and from the International Space Station, beginning in 2017. And the spoils go to, like I said earlier, Boeing and SpaceX. The companies will sign with NASA to further develop the spacecraft to deliver astronauts to and from the International Space Station. Boeing will receive $4.2 billion. That's a lot of money. $4.2 billion to build its CST-100 spacecraft, a vehicle it has been working on for the past 4 years, while SpaceX will receive $2.6 billion, pretty hefty chunk of change, to create an upgraded rendition of its Dragon spacecraft, aptly named Dragon version 2. The original Dragon is currently being used to ferry cargo from Earth to the International Space Station. Yes, for everyone who hasn't been keeping up on it, SpaceX, founded by Elon Musk, who you may remember is also the founder of Tesla Motors, who makes those fancy electric cars.
Mm-hmm.
So he made the Dragon, and the Dragon is currently being used for cargo. So they obviously, while you may not have heard of SpaceX, they are obviously well suited for the task. So the two rockets outwardly look similar to NASA's Orion capsule, but they can both hold up to 7 crew members each. To get to the ISS, Boeing CST-100 will be launched in on the United Launch Alliance's Atlas V rocket, and SpaceX will launch the Dragon V2 on its own Falcon 9. And they have Charles Bolden here from NASA saying that this was not an easy choice, but this is the best choice for NASA and the nation. So most importantly, though, is the program will bring an end to NASA's reliance on the Russian spacecraft to ferry astronauts from Earth to the ISS, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The arrangement doesn't do much for the American ego, especially since the recent Ukraine conflict has soured the relationship between Russia and the United States. Plus, Craig,
Yes.
guess how much it costs to send an American astronaut with the Russians?
I have no idea.
And mind you, this is not a plane ride from Seattle to Columbus.
No.
This is to space. How much would you pay to send an astronaut to space?
$1 million.
Try 70 times that.
$70 million.
We are paying the Russians $70 million per astronaut to go up there with them.
That's a lot of money.
I mean, look at it with straight up economics. You send 100 astronauts up and down, you might as well have your own space program.
Yeah.
Which we will now be doing. SpaceX and Boeing beat out a number of other private companies for the NASA gig, including a big contender, the Sierra Nevada Corp. All three companies have been involved in the early phases of the program, in which NASA awarded them a total of $1.4 billion in Space Act agreements and contracts to get their ideas up and running. So despite not being chosen for the program, Sierra Nevada plans to further develop its shuttle-esque vehicle, the Dream Chaser, perhaps as a resupply vehicle for the commercial spaceflight. And, I think I included it here as well. Not seeing the story off the top, but there's also talk of, by 2017, if we're having private companies send up astronauts, there's no stopping them from kind of commencing with the whole idea of space tourism.
Yeah.
So, by 2017 they're going to have that, and let's say they make another one and they, kind of make it more passenger oriented, not for cargo, not for, expensive, fragile science equipment, not for anything like that. Just make it a big, shove a bunch of people on it and take them up to space for an hour or two. I mean, that is the future, isn't it? I mean,
I would think so.
They're shuttling people to space.
I would think so. Exactly.
So, probably sometime around when the self-driving car is going to be around, I would not doubt for a couple $1,000s, you too could go to space.
That's right. Certainly wouldn't be $70 million.
Certainly wouldn't be $70 million. I think Elon Musk, who is, again, the CEO of SpaceX, said that by 2020, he wanted to make it about $4,000 per person.
Wow.
To go to space. Which, I mean, $4,000, let's not be blunt about it, that is expensive. But for $4,000 for something that only a couple, maybe a couple hundred people have done ever,
yeah,
that's quite an experience.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you. Well, are you going to be you going to catch a ride on SpaceX, you think, in your life?
I figure by the time I'm 40, it's going to probably be down to about the price of a bus fare. So I'll probably be around to wait for it. Craig, you might want to jump on it, as soon as you can.
It'll be like Greyhound, catch a bus to the Mars or something.
No, it would be like Greyhound, where they'd shoot you up into space, and let's say you want to go to China, they shoot you up into space and send you reverse to the Earth's rotation, and you get there in 3 hours instead of 26 hours.
Yeah, that's actually
that would be awesome.
That would be. You wait at the station while the Earth rotates, and then down you go.
Exactly.
Yeah. That does make a lot of sense.
And all you have to do is just go up, maybe 5 or 6 more miles than your average plane does.
Yeah, but then the Earth's rotation, because you're not in a geosynchronous orbit. You're just stationary.
No, and not even stationary. You could be completely, going opposite of the rotation, making you go faster.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. All right. Well, getting back down to Earth. This is an interesting story.
Nice pun, Craig. I like that.
Exactly. Don't you hate it? I know you've had some bad experiences. You're driving along and then you have a flat tire, or because maybe you weren't monitoring them. Now I know some of the newer cars have monitor systems that will actually measure, monitor your tire and and tire pressure. But what if you have an older car and you can't buy a new car just ice now? According to CNET, there's a device now that you can buy for your car. They're Bluetooth sensors that constantly check the car tire pressure, and they'll send you an alert if there's something going on. All you have to do, according to the story, is you just replace the valve caps on your tires with something called the Phobo tire sensor, and you'll always know when your tires are in need of a burst of air. Obviously, always check your tire pressure. That's something it's something you should do as a driver. And now this new invention, and it's making a run on Indiegogo, by the way, could play the role of a nervous parent for thousands of drivers out there by continuously monitoring tire pressure and relaying that information via Bluetooth to a smartphone or an in-car receiver. It's called the Phobo tire, a name that makes no sense to the author of the story until he asked one of the creators what Phobo means, and basically it means for our better world. Okay, this is from the senior manager of the Malaysian company that makes the device. Indicated that the last O comes from the second letter of the word world. Okay, which makes no sense. Okay, but you call it Phobao. Phobao. Anyway, to use the Phobo system, drivers would unscrew the little black caps on their tires, fill valves, and replace them with round Phobo tire sensors. Each sensor continuously monitors the pressure in its assigned tire, then uses Bluetooth to relay that information via smartphone app or to an in-car receiver. And because Bluetooth is a low-energy technology, the creators say the sensors will last about 2 years before the batteries need to be changed. The sensors work 24/7. When it detects a flat or deflated tire, it will send out Bluetooth signals continuously alerting the user of a flat tire. As long as the users within the typical Bluetooth range of between 10 and 30 feet, depending on the surrounding walls, etc., the smartphone will pick up the alert signal. If a user is out of range, the alert will sound when he approaches the car, or she will approach the car, and prevent them from driving a potentially dangerous vehicle. Very cool. Now, what about theft of the sensors? Okay. The creators say that if the sensors get stolen, they won't work with another system, but that didn't seem to allay everyone's fear. So the Phobo folks are working on a lock nut that can only be removed with a special wrench that will help make the sensors as theft-proof as possible. Okay. I've seen those anti-theft nuts, when they have a locking nut, on the tire, so you just can't just take it off. It has a locking nut.
Yeah.
Of course, then they'll come up with a thing to unlock that, but they have to be, make sense, plentiful enough to do that. I don't think that's going to happen here.
They'd have to be bored enough.
Yeah, maintaining properly inflated tires can not only improve gas mileage and keep treads from wearing out prematurely, it can keep vehicles safe. Incorrect tire pressure will compromise cornering, braking, and stability. Okay, this is according to the Car Talk show you can listen to on NPR. And in the worst case scenario, improper tire pressure can lead to tire failure and a serious accident. So it seems like Mom and Dad were right, and it's certainly a message to which all people are responding. The Indiegogo campaign, which still has 38 days remaining, has already cruised past its goal of $28,000 with pledges in excess of $74,000. The $75 early bird specials are all sold out, but it's still possible to snag a set of the sensors plus the in-car unit for $90. Now, I do have to say, this sounds great, but there was another product about a year and a half ago that I got that did sort of the same thing, and it was a marketable product, and I think we had them on the show. Did
you try them on your car?
Yeah, and you put them on. You replace the valve, the stems on each tire, and it would send a Bluetooth signal to your. And at that time it was an iPhone app, and it would. I think they had an Android app coming out at the time, so I'm sure they did. And I don't see anything much different to this, and the product is out there. I bet you if you do a Google search for, tire
Are you sure it's
pressure.
not this company that right now?
No, wireless tire pressure. Do something on wireless tire pressure monitor or something. Do a Google search because
I'm not that interested in it.
Oh, but I think there's another company out there that already does this, and it's available now. So if this something is intriguing, if you're intrigued by this, do a Google search for wireless tire pressure, and I bet you're going to find something that's available. I actually, they sent me 4 of them, and I put them up. You mention the name, I'll probably recognize it because it's. I don't remember.
Well, Pressure Pro.
Okay, I guess
TPMS.
I'm gonna wireless
tire pressure monitor system.
Yeah.
TPMS.
Yeah, that's it. TPS. That's it. That's it. That's it. Wireless tire pressure. That's it.
Yeah, tire pressure system.
TPMS.
There we go.
TPMS. That's it. No, that's it. There it is, and that does it. So wireless tire, and they've improved it since wireless. That's it. So there you go. So the TPMS is available now. If you don't want to wait for the Bluetooth, you can get it now.
I guess if nothing, it's a product that we can make you aware of.
That's it. If nothing else. All right, we're at the bottom of the hour. You listen to the Computer America Show. Another news tip bulletin review from Marty Winston's coming up. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Guten Abend. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time it is the iRiveron heart rate headset. The headband that goes behind your neck hides sensors and shuttle and call controls while feeding audio to earbuds. So iRiveron is a headset that also monitors heart rate with waves. There's an app, an iOS or Android app, of course, that extends the measurables to include speed, distance, calories, and more. The app is also its only display. The sound quality is decent. The data displays as promised, and the rig is overall comfortable enough to wear during exercise. Bottom line, the iRiveron heart rate headset let both the music and the workout make your heart beat faster. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 32 minutes past the hour. We're doing computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimmer Utilities. Apparently, not to beat a dead horse, but Craig mentioned something a little bit earlier that, yes, I indeed, about a week ago, had a problem with tire pressure. Actually, 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced now that, admittedly, the tires had about 40,000 miles on them, so they weren't exactly new tires. But I believe one of the biggest problems was lack of air pressure, caused me to actually blow a tire on the interstate.
And
So
this would have warned you. We should get you a picture.
yeah. So check your tire pressure. I mean, like ever since that one instance, I have just for the past 3 weeks, I always check every time before I get into a car, and I'm just like I'm driving down the road, and I'll look at everyone else's car, and I'll look at their tires, and like when they're it's low because your tire actually it seems to bulge at the bottom.
Mm. Yes.
Somewhere right where the tire meets the road,
Yep.
and it actually bulges out a bit
Yes, it
when your
does.
tire pressure is low.
Yep. So you should check into that. Absolutely. There's a large black and white furry dog on the Venice Lakes again, river again. It looks like he's floating on the river. Maybe you should bring up a space scene. There'll be dogs in space.
I wish Google Hangouts had more, but they only have like beach, Venice, mountains, brick wall, and like a couple others. Like they don't have much of a variety, and you can't choose your own picture.
They have space. They have the space one is my favorite because it looks like he's floating. He's orbiting around the planet. That would be kind of cute.
But speaking of space and nothing to do with space,
Yeah.
Planes.
Nice segue.
Yeah, thank you. The planes are a thing, and what have we been talking about so often, Craig?
With planes?
No, forget it. You missed it. Virtual reality.
Okay, all right. Yes, all right. Virtual reality.
So this article from Wired, and it's talking about planes and how virtual reality might actually tie into them in the future. So in a world where economy class seats are getting thinner and lavatory is shrinking, any flight longer than an hour can feel like a traveling prison. Aircraft manufacturer Airbus is abetting the shift with a recent patent filing showing it hasn't forgotten about you, the passenger who actually has to sit in these miserable flying cells. It's considering helmets that will let you forget you're in an airplane at all.
Oh.
Flying can be boring or stressful, which is why airlines provide music, movies, and bad television. The next step appears to be thoroughly immersing passengers in what they're watching. The helmet in which the passenger houses his or her head offers him or her sensorial isolation with regard to the external environment, reads the patent filing. So I guess that's jargon for you forget that you're trapped in a tiny 20-inch seat, crammed into an airplane with 400 other people.
Yeah.
So the helmets feature headphones to provide music. You can watch movies, perhaps in 3D, on the optoelectronic screen, or possibly through image diffusion glasses. If you want to get some work done, turn on the virtual keyboard, which appears on the tray, don a pair of motion capture gloves, and type away. The helmet could
Why would you even need motion capture gloves? There are projectors now that will put a keyboard on your table, and then just your fingers will type. Is all you really need. You don't even need the motion capture gloves.
I would think it has to do with durability. Like just off the top of my head, people tend to slam. Especially when you're getting in and out of your seat, people bump into seats. They slam and they slam their tray up, do that kind of thing. So I think any kind of projector would be at risk for damage.
No, well, I mean, that wouldn't be a projector.
More so than gloves.
Virtual image, they could have a virtual image there.
I know, but the projector that actually projects the virtual image.
Yeah, well, then maybe you don't need that before. You wouldn't need that with the helmet. You wouldn't need the projector with the helmet, is what I'm saying, and you would see the keyboard and then type on it.
I'm gonna say no, but okay. If you want to get some work done, the gloves type away. The helmet can even pipe in different odors for an olfactory treat, and the whole thing would be nicely ventilated. So they have the patents here. They have diagrams. I personally, this thing looks like a cold incubator.
Yeah,
I mean, they're gonna have to figure out some way to make this thing sanitary because think of like the helmet would replace the plane headrest, Like it would be mounted into the headrest, and then there would be a I don't want to say blast shield, but think of like a fire helmet,
Okay.
a fireman helmet, and they have the shield there, and it comes down over your face, and that would be your screen.
Mhm.
So this thing just looks like an incubation for all kinds of nasty germs.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. Not like that anyway. I think you're right.
But I mean, if they're considering building their own system, that means that they must also be considering building technology to let you integrate your own system. Like, imagine if built into the seat and everywhere around you, you could plug in your Oculus Rift, your headphones, everything, and you could suit yourself up to just forget that you're on a plane altogether.
Yeah, that, and then you don't have to worry about sanitary, situations. It's yours, your equipment. It's not somebody else's.
Exactly. So Airbus, they're looking into it. As for when it's actually going to happen,
Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. That's a long way.
Or hold your breath because you're using something that probably 600 people have crammed their faces into, and that sounds appetizing. If we're being honest here.
See, of appetizing, when you walk into a Subway, that's a nice, love Subway sandwiches. Well, for all of you folks out there who are thinking about getting iPhone 6s, one of the new things is the NFC, ability. Subway is going to start accepting NFC payments starting in October. How's that for a segue? According to this story from TechHive, Subway will soon allow customers to pay for their sandwiches with the tap of the smartphone. The sandwich franchise chain said today it will launch contactless NFC payments across more than 26,000 restaurants in the U.S. starting October the 1st. The company is working with SoftCard, a mobile payments joint venture operated by the Big Four cellular networks, to launch the system, but a Subway spokeswoman said that any payment app based on the NFC standard will be accepted. That includes the soon-to-be-launched Apple Pay and existing services from Google Wallet, PayPal, and other vendors. Now, the rollout will be one of the largest in the U.S. to date. When Apple CEO Tim Cook announced Apple Pay last week, he said there were 220,000 stores across the country that would accept the system. The Subway announcement increases that by more than 10% in a single step. That's a lot of stores, Well, the thing about it, Subways are everywhere you look, I can't think of one place where there's another Subway. Subway has been testing NFC payments with SoftCard in Salt Lake City since earlier this year. SoftCard is operated by AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, and Verizon. Until recently, it was called ISIS, but rebranded to avoid being confused with a terrorist group that is also called Islamic State. So, obviously. So
we went over that story as well.
Yeah, so looks like Subway is going to support Apple Pay. So when you get your new iPhone, you'll be able to pay for that. Starting in October, you can buy your sandwiches with your new iPhone. That's very cool.
I'm all for that, but Apple Pay, it seems like the technology of the future. It just needs to get here so we can start using it. That it's more so convenient than debit cards, but I feel like one of my favorite things is ordering a pizza. There is just something so primordial about going online, ordering food, and it just popping up at your door, and you have to think and move no more than necessary to click a couple times. There's just something so gratifying to me to be that lazy and get good food. But I mean, before you have to enter all your details, do this, do that. I mean, if NFC works out, you could totally have just like a little receiver node, and when someone pops up at the door, you bing your phone against it, and that's it. All of your information is just into that one receiver.
Eventually the delivery people will carry an NFC receiver, and
and that's what I'm thinking. It's just NFC is great. It just needs to get here. So Subway jumping on board, and of course, Apple already lining up 220,000 stores to to greet it.
Mhm.
That's good.
That is very good. My only concern is that I mean, I understand it works with Visa and Mastercard, but I don't know if my and some of the big banks, but I don't know if my bank is not on that list. I'm hoping that I won't need the bank to use it. So but um, if you're in one of the smaller banks, but I'm sure it'll eventually come to everybody eventually. So
Or credit unions.
That's not going to stop me from getting an iPhone 6 though. I really do want one of those. So.
I hear.
Yeah. Okay.
I think everyone who's listening to the show knows pretty strong, man, which side of the fence you fall on.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's no story here. I'm not going to get into it per se, but it goes along with the Apple NFC thing, and it's actually a review of the Apple 6 and 6 Plus. By the way, what's up with Apple 6 Plus? Like, why is that the name?
Because it's an iPhone 6, but it's bigger. It's got more screen area.
I know, but why Plus? Apple couldn't come out with anything better.
That's what they did. They called it the Plus. iPhone 6 Plus.
Seems lazy. Anyways.
What would you want? The gargantuan?
What?
The iPhone 6 gargantuan.
Again, me coming off with the top of my head would probably be better than the 6 Plus.
Okay.
But anyways, apparently Apple Pay only works through Apple. Like, you can't use a PayPal and use Apple's NFC chip to link up your PayPal and work with anything else. It only works with Apple Pay.
Yes, exactly.
But let's not forget that they had another technology where Apple pioneered it. I think it was their iTunes setup deal, where you can only go through Apple for all your payments through iTunes and things like that. And eventually they changed it, but for the initial launch, for the initial year, it was exclusively with Apple. And why is this a good thing instead of a bad thing? Because if you go most places, you'll see articles everywhere saying this is a bad thing, this is a bad thing, Apple's trying to pigeonhole you, so on and so forth. Let's just say if it doesn't work, Apple's the one who's going to take the big hit on it. If there's a bug, if there's a glitch, if there's some kind of abuse of the software, then Apple will have time, because it's going to be completely on them and only affecting them, that they're going to be able to fix it, and handle the situation much more thoroughly than if they automatically let PayPal and Mastercard and Visa jump onto the NFC. It would be harder to maintain and upkeep that technology.
By the way, just back to your point, why they didn't come up with a better name. Star Fortress in the chat room said they didn't call it the 6C because it's too close to sexy, and 6S is like success, So maybe that's why they needed the C and the S. That's why they didn't.
So instead of actually coming up with a good idea, they just kind of rolled out bad ideas and then just went from there.
Well, that's kind of cute, but okay.
It's goofy. Anyways, but even though Apple Pay is coming out even though NFC is coming out with Apple Pay only, that doesn't mean in the future, within the next year, even before they release the new iPhone, next year, the Apple 7 and 7 Plus, what have you, that doesn't mean that they can't activate the NFC to work with other forms of payments. It's just right now, at the moment, it's only Apple, and others, I'm sure, will be coming eventually.
Speaking of Apple, just letting you people, our listeners, remind you, as of midnight tonight, you know what happens? It's September the 17th. You know what that means? Ben?
What?
iOS 8 becomes downloadable. So you can get iOS 8 for free as of tomorrow, which is going to happen in about 10 minutes. So get your iTunes ready to download iOS 8. Of course, they do it in sections, so you might not get it immediately, but it officially begins downloading on the 17th. And then on the 19th, of course, the Apple iPhone 6 and 6 Plus begin to ship, so you can get it. One of the things they're starting to do is they have a new feature now that when you order the phone, they don't have to mail it to you. You can actually go to an Apple store and pick it up. Something new that they just started. So, but anyway, so did you finish your story?
Yeah, no, I made my points, even
Okay.
though they were thoroughly ignored. We're good.
Okay. Well, here's one from Popular Science. I know you like them, and but this is kind of cool. Evidently, they've got a new radar gun. Yes, a new radar gun that police will use. But guess what? It doesn't detect. I mean, it detects how fast you're going, and everything. But guess this: it may be able to spot drivers who are texting behind the wheel. Evidently, it works by detecting the radio waves used to send SMS messages. Um, They're working, evidently, Comsonics, which is a company specializing in cable leakage detection, is working on a device that would sense when drivers are texting. Uh, uh, they suggest that the final product, designed for police use, might look like something like a radar gun, gadgets that police currently use to log drivers' speed and give out tickets. The text sensing device looks for the radio wavelengths that phones use to send and receive SMS messages. Busted. Okay. The device will between the radio waves used by text and the waves used by calls, which are of a different frequency. The Comsonics manager told told this to a Virginian pilot. That's the newspaper there. That ability would be useful in Virginia and many other states where it's legal for adults to talk on a cell phone while driving, but not to text, which seems kind of silly. Research has found that having phone conversations while driving is almost as dangerous. It's unclear, however, how the device will be able to distinguish between texting on the part of the driver versus passengers in the same car. That could be it. Comsonic now makes a number of devices that detect electromagnetic waves, including a few radar gun-shaped things that find signal leaks in cables. Well, yeah. That would be an interesting problem, though. I mean, so they detect it and they say, okay, you're texting, but you can hand your phone quickly to your passengers. No, she was texting it. My passenger. I wasn't doing it. How are they going to know?
Maybe if they see that, like, it would be used in conjunction with, of course, police officers are trained to see, a lot of things about the driver that the average person doesn't notice. Like, they can just, by looking at you, they take notice of if you're distracted, if you're looking down, if you're looking away, if you're not looking at the road, if your seatbelt's on, that kind of thing. So I think technology like this would be used in conjunction with the officers,
Training.
other sense. It's not just like, here, point this gun, and then automatically if you should give them a ticket or not. It's just another tool to use.
Yep, I guess. Makes sense. So I think it's kind of neat.
Yep.
Because you shouldn't be texting and driving. Anybody who texts and drives is insane.
Craig Crossman,
yes,
you're jumping on that high horse of yours, and I don't want to see you fall and hurt yourself. Mister, I'll never text and drive, but I will fiddle with my GPS unit until I am off the road and 3 way down the creek.
That's on the windshield. It's made for the drive.
It doesn't matter. It's just as bad.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have to mess with the GPS unit while you're still in park, mess with it, get it right, and then be on your way. Do not do it on your way to your destination.
Actually, my GPS now is voice activated, so I can just...
Doesn't matter. You're still very distracted. I've seen you drive. It is scary.
Okay. All right. What's the next story?
All right. There are a couple good ones. How about this one?
Yes.
I guess lately we have been kind of skimpy with the actual hardware technology. So this one from Maxim PC, and Micron unveils high-speed, low-power M600 SATA SSD, comes in different form factors.
Yes. Solid-state drive.
Yep, Paul Lilly. And Micron, the memory chip maker based in Boise, Idaho, announced its M600 SATA solid-state drive. And according to Micron, the M600 represents a next-generation design that sets a new bar for low-power, high-performance storage for PCs. There are 13 different variations to choose from, ranging from 128 to 1 terabyte, each one, and 2.5 to 7 millimeter M-SATA and M.2 single-sided form factors. By the way, I find it interesting.
Yeah.
In this next generation, quote-unquote, of solid-state drives, the lowest you can get is a 128.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good because I remember they started 64.
They started 16s.
16, yeah, and 128 gigs.
Like, they had 8s, but they weren't really used for anything. I mean, what are you going to use an 8 gig for? But I remember they started selling 16s and then 32s, and a lot of people jumped on the 32s because that was just big enough to fit your operating system on.
What do you have?
And then the 64, I have a 64,
okay.
which I regret because I accidentally fill it up all the time. So I actually had to go through it and delete a lot because for a programming class that I'm taking, the code compiler that I'm using, for some reason, I don't know why, requires 9 gigabytes of storage on every drive. Even though you install it on like the D drive, it needs 9 gigs on the C drive for some reason.
Did you ask your teacher, your professor? Maybe he can tell you why.
She just said get one. She doesn't work for Microsoft. So, anyways, after some searching around, there's no getting around it. You had to do it. So I had to go through my 60 gig hard drive that was pretty much only had about 300 megabytes left on it, and somehow clear off 9 gigs.
Was it all World of Warcraft stuff anyway?
No, it's just, files from here, files from there, build up over time because it's your C drive and things naturally want to go to your C drive.
Well, if you use Slimware Utilities, it will clean up a lot of that stuff for you.
It's not that kind of accumulation.
Oh, okay. The stuff that you want.
Just, if you have used a computer before, things naturally tend to want to go to your C drive. They want to go to C-program files what have you. And when you have a second larger storage device, like I do, most people have like a 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte normal hard drive. Those tend to be the D drives. So even though your smaller one's a C drive, you don't want to put anything on. Things tend to want to accumulate on your C drive. Anyways,
Fortress is saying it's time to get a larger solid-state drive.
I know it is. I have to upgrade the hardware. It's been like 3 years. It's sad. Okay, so back to the story real quick. Again, new solid-state drives, low power, high form factor. It uses less than 2 milliwatts. 2 milliwatts in sleep mode and averages 150 milliwatts during active use.
Not bad.
Compared to a
It's not bad.
Yeah, compared to a typical laptop hard disk drive, which chugs 130 milliwatts in sleep mode and 1,400 to 2,000 milliwatts when active.
Wow.
When they say low power, it is low powered. Going from 2,000 to 150.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So on the performance side, it boasts random reads up to 100,000 IOPS, and sequential reads of up to 560 megabits a second for all capacities. Random write performance is rated at 88,000 IOPS with sequential writes up to 510 megabytes per second, which is for all capacities. So, look for them out now. Again, these are by Micron. These are the M600 SATA solid-state drives. Very, very low power. If you can, just going on power numbers alone, look for these in laptops.
Very cool.
These things will increase your battery life, by tenfold.
Well, we didn't have time to get some other stories. Maybe we'll do them tomorrow, like this one from Ars Technica. Tesla wins the right to sell directly to consumers in Massachusetts, which I think is very cool.
Tesla has to fight tooth and nail because apparently it has to go through a dealership and whatnot.
Yeah.
Tesla is selling directly to customers, and they're having to fight tooth and nail just for that right.
Yeah, yeah. Also, Microsoft unveils a universal keyboard and wired Xbox One controller for Windows. Maybe we'll get to that tomorrow. And so we'll get to some of these stories that we just didn't have time to get to tonight. Let's see. What was the other one? Oh, yeah. There was an interesting story here about Apple iCloud backups are finally protected by two-factor authentication with an update to that.
Which, of course, was in response to the very targeted iCloud hacking of the celebrities and their photos.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And also, maybe we can talk about this article in Wired. Toyota invents a wacky city
90 seconds.
city car it thinks millennials will want to buy. So maybe
I saw that thing. It's you know, for everyone who hasn't seen it, think of an SUV that the roof kind of collapses in the back and it becomes kind of pickup truck-esque. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool too. All right, well, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, in the first hour, we're going to have our Intel sponsor hour. That's right. And I think what we're going to be talking about
60 seconds
tomorrow is from the Intel Developer Forum. We're going to be talking about these smart cities, which was mentioned in the opening at the Intel Developer Forum conference last week. So they're going to be here for the first hour. And then in hour 2, you guessed it, more computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Again, thanks to Sling Media for being here with us in the first hour, talking about the Slingbox M1 and the Sling TV. Thanks for being here. And thank you all for being with us here tonight. We will see you tomorrow night. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy.
10 seconds.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
Let's hope it becomes solid state.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us on our live video stream. And as I said, Intel tomorrow night. We'll see you here. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.